Is passive income actually a thing? And is it better than freelancing? In this video, we're going to discuss that. Hey everybody, what's up and welcome to another segment of Business Time. This time, passive income versus freelancing. It seems from my YouTube feed at least that everybody's talking about passive income these days and it's all the rage, and all designers are wondering, how can I start selling stuff online so I don't have to work with clients anymore? I don't know if you feel the same way, but I feel that way, and certainly I'm part of that trend, I would say, because as you might know if you follow my channel, I'm kind of transitioning from moving away to mainly client work into mainly focusing on my online training, the Webflow Masterclass. So I am generally a part of that, but I feel like there's a lack of discussion or even honesty about what it actually means when you're building a product. And actually, I even find the term passive income quite disturbing. And so here's what I want to cover about the main differences and how you're going to know if this is the right thing for you. First of all, let's discuss the term passive income. I think it's very, very misleading because from the sound of it, it sounds like you're going to create something and then money is going to come at you passively, and the dream is kind of like you're going to be sitting at a beach somewhere and chilling out with your cocktails, and your course or ebook or whatever is going to be selling and generating money passively while you chill and do nothing. This is completely a lie, because this is not going to happen. What I think most people don't talk about when they're talking about, passive income or creating products versus selling services is that you're going to have to bring people in to buy them. So that means you're going to have to work a lot at marketing, generating traffic, converting traffic into sales, and that takes a lot of work. There's no one successful that I know in any domain that is doing nothing and it is successful. Everybody who's successful, no matter if they're doing services or product, are constantly working. I know that for myself. A lot of people ask me, Ron, your course is already built, so what do you have to do all day long? But I have to work at getting people to know about this, and then getting people to buy it, and then getting people to be happy with it. And that is a lot of work. That is work that is never ends. And so if you want to be successful, you have to work. So first of all, let's get rid of the term passive, because it's very, very misleading. I would just focus on selling services versus selling product. Now, I think what is right to think about is that when you're selling products, you're literally not selling, specifically, you're not selling your time, because when you are doing freelancing or consulting, even if you're pricing, value pricing, which I always talk about in my channel, you should not price per hour, you should do value pricing. That allows you to charge more. But even if you charge $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 for a project, eventually you work on it several hours. And so it allows you to, if you track your time, which you should, by the way, I did a video about time tracking recently. If you're tracking your time, you should be able to calculate your effective hourly rate. Now, for me, for my freelancing, for example, I've calculated that, and I did that pretty efficiently, and my effective hourly rate was $500 per hour. So now I have to think about, am I actually going to make more money by doing something else? And this is something that you should be thinking about. Now, the second thing is, am I actually going to like the work better? So there's two things that you should consider. One, the type of work that you'll have to do, which is, instead of creative work, when you're working with client, most of your work, you have to do some marketing and sales, which I know that most of you hate already. And then there's the actual creative work now, which is like probably around maybe either 80-20 or even 90%, then 10% marketing and sales. Now, when you're going to be doing a product, the benefit, first of all, I did not talk about the benefits, because before I said that you're basically selling hours. When you're selling a product, you don't sell your hours. And so that you can scale, there's no real difference between selling 10 copies or 100 copies or 1,000 copies. So the potential for scale is really bigger, which I think this is one of the core reasons why I said, that's interesting. I want to look into products. But the type of work that you'll have to do is different. You'll be creating the product once and then spending most of your time doing marketing and sales. So there'll be a 90-10 to the opposite direction. So you really have to ask yourself, what do I want to spend my time doing? If you want to spend your time creating, it might not be the right thing for you. If you want to spend your time doing marketing and sales, then this is just know upfront that this is what you're going to be doing. Now, I was initially hesitant about this, and I'm also a creative person who always loved to create. And I've had an experience before, even like the Webflow Masterclass is actually not my first course. I've actually released previously courses with the New School, and we had the pricing class and a marketing class. And my problem with these courses was that I came to them from a creator perspective. I've created them, then I was bored and wanted to move into the next thing and the next thing. Because we didn't spend that much time in marketing and sales, they were never successful. So we launched them, they made a bunch of money, and then there was a graph, there was a spike of sales, and then it declined. Because nothing is passive. You put energy in, you get something out. Now I've created it, and the good thing is I'm working with a business coach who's like slapping me in the face. Don't walk away. Don't go creating the next thing, even though that's what you want to do. Stay with the marketing, stay with the operations. Make sure that this business actually grows. But you have to know whether this is something that you want to do. This is something that fits your personality. This is how you want to spend your days. Now, I also discovered on myself, which is something that I did not know back then, I really like to create content, and this content can actually serve as marketing for my course. And so by kind of aligning what I like to do, create content, I still get to participate in that kind of like the feel of being a creator, even though I'm actually spending most of my time these days as a marketer because I'm trying to sell what I've already created. So this is the first thing to keep in mind. Will you actually like the work of being a marketer, writing emails, creating videos, trying to sell people, try to convert people? If you don't like this, then be very wary of creating a product. It's not going to sell itself. You're going to know how to sell it. And I have to say for myself, switching into the sales mode is very, very difficult, just like it is difficult when you're with clients, only you have to do this all the time, and you have to get more rejections that you get from clients. You have to get more people saying, this worked for me, this didn't work for me, because everything is on scale. The second thing, which is very, very important, is to actually figure out, is this going to be profitable for you? Because what happens with the course is you're going to invest a lot of time in creating it, and at the end of the day you'll be able to calculate also an effective hourly rate. And so you'll be able to know, it's kind of like an investment. Is this paid back? Because I've worked on it 100 hours. Did it generated more money than if I would work 100 hours on my consulting, on my freelance business? And you have to keep track on that. I did this at least when I launched the course, and the numbers were very, very clear. As I said, for each hour I put down on my consultancy, I earned $500. But for each hour that I've invested with the Webflow Masterclass, I earned more than $1,000. And so the math was pretty clear that I should invest my time there. Now, one more thing that you should know about me, I did this YouTube channel for free and built audience for over 3 years without trying to sell anything. And I've created goodwill with a lot of people, with everybody in my audience. And so it was relatively easier for me to launch a product or something. If you do not have audience, if you do not have somebody to sell to, that's something that you need to think about before you go ahead and spend the time to create something, which then you're not going to have anybody to sell to, and you've just ended up wasting your time, or creating something that's going to generate $50 per month. Now, think about this, and you might say, I don't care, like $50 per month is not that bad, or $100 or $200 per month is not that bad. Right, but it's a distraction. If your main, I would say, income comes from client work, then another $50, $200, $300 per month, maybe it will allow you some security, but maybe it will be also a distraction. So what I suggest thinking about is making the calculation or tracking. Or one more thing, by the way, that I did and that can be helpful for you is to try to sell the thing that you're selling, the course or ebook or whatever it is that you're doing, before it actually created. This kind of will help you validate, do you have somebody to sell this to who wants this thing and is willing to pay for this? I did this with the Webflow Masterclass. I kind of actually did a pre-sale and I sold a bunch of it, saw that there was actually a market demand for that thing, and only then went ahead and did this. I feel like a lot of people, or most designers that I know, are going to actually create something. So they're going to invest the time in doing this instead of doing client work and actually generating revenue. And it will turn out at the end of the day that they could not sell it, or that the sales that it generated did not compensate for the time that it took them to create. So I think these are the two things that you should really, really know about. There's nothing passive about this. You're going to be spending most of your time marketing, and you have to be really be careful to look at the math and the accounting and make sure that it is going to be profitable for you. That being said, I'm hopefully going to be doing that and hopefully be able to scale, and be able to sell more if I manage to, create a business around this, crack the marketing channel. But this is not obvious. This is risky just the same as, doing, turning, if you want to scale your freelance, you turn it into an agency, right? You hire people, and then you can also scale and take more work and do that. So I think there's nothing easier about this. It's just very, very different. And it depends on who you are to make sure that, this is the thing that will make you happier doing, spending your time on this rather than something else. I think a lot of designers who are mainly creators and love the feeling of working on something new and create something new are actually going to be disappointed when the thing that you created, either they'll just run away to the next thing they'll create and none of them will sell, or they'll just create something and then be like bored with doing all the marketing. So those are things that you really, really should consider. I think you can be really successful at both. You're going to have to make sure that you make the right decision for you. Hope this was helpful. I'll catch you on the next one.